Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Araquanid again in the Great League. I kind of want to take a look at this team again. I already showcased this like a few weeks prior, basically when Araquanid first came out, but in like friendlies because we didn't have Great League available. So now we can take a look on how good Araquanid gonna be in the open Great League here against actual opponents, and actually also most likely very high elo range, as we face some very good players. We don't face anything that's like too spicy or anything like this, so we have like some good comparison now what this thing can, what this thing can do. And the thing right now, which is kind of clear at the current time while I'm recording this video, the meta is not really prepared for this thing. Like, you don't really have a lot of good answer for this. You of course still have, I don't know, like some answers like the Registeel or anything like this, but most teams have a really big weakness of Araquanid. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, like especially in lower leagues where people tend to not change their teams too often. I think you can get like a good advantage playing Araquanid and early on in the next season, because I think this Pokemon is currently actually, in my opinion, rank 1 in the meta for me. Like, I think it's the best Pokemon right now. I think it's better than anything else that you can have, maybe like comparable to Registeel in terms of usage, but or like usefulness, but I think it's actually the best Pokemon right now to play in Go Battle League. And this is my honest opinion after me playing this Pokemon like for a lot of battles already. I have to say this thing is just insane. It's like completely busted. It's so strong, even though it doesn't really have the correct moveset yet or like the perfect moveset yet. Just having the bulk of a Zimroll while having Bubble Beam to even lower your opponent's attack is insane, while having a move that, like a quick move that does basically one damage every turn, or even 2 damage every turn, depending on like which matchup you have. It just adds up after a time. You see like how fast you get like the Walrein down here. Even the Warrior is one of the bulkiest Pokemon with a lot of HP. Still, the Bug Bite just does a lot of damage, and you can get the debuff as well. This is the next amazing thing about this Pokemon. You have the Bubble Beam debuffing the attack from your opponent. You have the Bug Buzz having a 30% chance to drop the defense of your opponent. So no matter what you're gonna go for, you have always a chance or a guarantee for debuffing your opponent's stats, which is insane for this kind of Pokemon. I think it's best working either, like it's definitely best working either in the lead or in the back. Both of them are fine. There's next to no Pokemon that really hard rolls you in the lead, other than maybe Registeel and the Skarmory, but neither of them are really common in the lead, to be honest, from what I've seen so far. So it's a very safe lead as well, which makes this Pokemon just really amazing. It's just so good. No matter where you want to play it, other than the Safe Swap, you always have a good time with this. And yeah, if you have it as a Safe Swap and you have like something that really helps it getting the counters out of the way, for example, like here in this team you have the Sableye, you're gonna have a good time. You're really gonna have a good time. We can go for one Bug Buzz here against this Medicham, as Medicham also gonna take some nice damage. This is the next thing about Araquanid being completely overpowered. You have so many fighting types right now, which are also very common in, for example, the regionals metas that you see right now, where you can just still deal super easily with them, as they always have like the secondary typing of either Psychic or the Dark with the Scrafty and the Medicham, which both of them make the quick move and your charge moves all neutral, which is really nice for you, while you resist all the counter damage, and counter damage is like the main bread and butter for those fighting types. So like you have a really good answer with this as well. It's just really nice. Of course, our team around it is also working really well. We have 2 Pokemon in the back that are good against fighting types. We have a Pokemon in the lead that's weak against fighting types. We have a Pokemon in the lead that's weak against ground types, so especially like the Swampert, and we have the hard answer for this in the Araquanid in the back. Like, if you want a good team, I think this is the best team that you can run for the next season. If like we don't get insane move updates, which I don't really expect that we get insane move updates, as we still have the Worlds coming up. I would rather expect bigger changes to the gameplay after Worlds, because like right now Worlds, they don't really want to change their gameplay towards Worlds, which is kind of, I mean, it's kind of understandable, but also kind of not. Like, I don't know, they actually changed the gameplay in general a lot now with the addition of Araquanid for the qualifiers. So like all those, oh, I don't want to change the movesets, doesn't really make sense either. So like maybe just give us new moves that would help us, I think, a lot in terms of getting cool content out of the way and getting like some awesome new Pokemon into the meta. Maybe something that balances a little bit the meta, as we're still kind of seeing a lot of Warren, of course, but of course now with the addition of Araquanid, Warren isn't gonna be the best Pokemon anymore to use, as yeah, Araquanid just completely destroys that. But you most likely gonna see later on, after like a few weeks into the new season, that we're gonna see a lot of more steel types around. I think we're gonna see a lot more Skarmories around again. I think we're gonna see a lot of like Swampert, Sableye Skarmory teams. We're gonna see more double steel teams in the back, maybe even more Bastions, because you just need to be prepared for the Araquanid. It's just such a strong meta Pokemon right now that we're gonna see definitely a meta shift someday soon. But right now everybody plays the team that they always play, and it's just basically free elo or like free wins here right now with the Araquanid in the Great League. So it's just insane. We can go for some foul plays here against this Drapion. I just want to get him low. To be honest, I can get actually to another one, which maybe even gets me a shield. No, we can just realign, and we see the Lucario coming in. This game was insane, by the way. Lucario against us is pretty good. So yeah, like this doesn't really look too good for us as well right now. We can go for the Bubble Beam. We had 2 shields down. Of course, they can go for 1 Shadow Ball now, as we can go for another Bubble Beam here. This Bubble Beam gonna allow my opponent to swap out there, so he has basically no debuff anymore. We have no shields. The Shadow Ball gonna hit us. The Shadow Ball gonna do us some damage, and we can farm down with the Sableye, but still, the Lucario has 2 shields. We have 3 Pokemon with next to no HP against Lucario, 1 shield. And we can luckily go for this Bubble Beam here. And this Bubble Beam gonna come in clutch later, as you're gonna see. As we're gonna debuff the opponent's attack, they can go for a move here. And they still have enough energy to get to another move here against our, what's it called, our G-Fisk. But thanks to the debuff, we're gonna be able to survive everything, also the counter afterwards, and we're gonna be able to still win this game. But this Lucario really threatened me there. Like, Lucario is a good answer for this team, but hey, like, what a surprise. Lucario is not really that common. But maybe we see it more often now. Also good answer for Registeel. Lucario actually has some play right now in the current meta, so it could be a cool spice pick to play, as we have to go still for another move here against this Registeel, which is fine. And we see the Nidoqueen coming in, and we try to get to the return. Maybe we should have thrown prior, but it is still fine, as we can go for the Stunfisk. We can go for some Rock Slides here real quick. And we're gonna get the shield from my opponent, which is nice. As we're gonna go for the no shield as my opponent baits me here. That was amazing, of course. We can go for 1 Earthquake, and this Earthquake gonna be able to KO the Nidoqueen, but they're gonna shield up anyway. We still have 2 shields. We're gonna shield here just now because there's no reason to risk it anymore. And we can just try to win this game with our Araquanid in the back, of course, as we're gonna be able to go for the Rock Slide here, and this Rock Slide gonna do just enough? Yeah, just enough to KO my opponent. We see the Alolan Growlithe in the bag, which of course is something that we like to see. And we see the Warren here in the lead right now, which is kind of awkward to play against, because I want to really have it in the bag against the Araquanid, but they swap out and they go into a Drapion. And I think we play this game really good. I don't know. We will see. We see the debuff from the Drapion. We can go for 1 foul play, which is very nice here. Can we get the shield? We can get the shield from my opponent. We go for the return now. Does this KO my opponent? Does it go through? We will see. We get to see it goes through, which means we can realign if we shield here. And we're gonna shield this up, so we can realign our Araquanid against the opponent's Walrein here, which is very nice, because Walrein has literally nothing to hit me with, which is really cool for me, and I can just try to farm all the way down here. And here's the thing, he has only 1 Pokemon left in the bag, and him staying in here allows me to get too much energy there to get to like Bubble Beams, which means my opponent cannot swap out in the end anymore if he would have stayed in there, not just forfeited immediately, and would mean that we have a very nice time at the back. So if you have if you get your opponent in a situation where you still have 2 Pokemon, doesn't really matter how much HP they really have, but like the opponent has only 1 Pokemon and you have a Pokemon like the Araquanid, which can debuff your opponent's attack easily, it is really nice to have this thing in the bag still. Here we see it in the lead with the wrong quick move, in my opinion. Infestation generates energy faster, like way faster I think, than the current energy generation of the Bug Bite. But the damage output is just not there. Like, go for Bug Bite. It's just not worth it to not go for Bug Bite, to be honest. So we see the Talonflame coming in here. We can go for 1 more nice foul play, and we're gonna go for the shield here with a Flame Charge. And we should be able to get to another foul play in time. I don't know, I don't think this KOs my opponent, to be honest. But we will see. No, it doesn't. We can try to farm down. We're gonna shield up and we try to farm down here, which should work out pretty well, as we can see the Sableye from my opponent coming in there. We can go for the foul play. We can swap into our Araquanid and they just surrender there because they know there was nothing they can do anymore. Araquanid too strong. And here this team, okay, yeah, good lead here again. My opponent just gets 3 moves, which I didn't really want, but I can stay in now. The thing is, there are so many teams still that are just weak to Bug Bite. Like, nobody expects Bug type Pokemon in general in the current meta. So you have Deoxys Defense here, and I think this opponent has more Pokemon that are weak to me. We see the Drapion coming in here against me, which is fine, as we can take the first crunch, get the defense draw, which doesn't really matter. We can bait him with our foul plays, which we get the shield from him, and we can go for 1 return here. Does he let this go? Do we get the last shield already? We will see here right now. We're gonna get this move through, and we're gonna let it go as well, as we can farm down with the G-Fisk. And if they go into their they go into their Deoxys Defense, I can stay in, like I can go in here. I should be able to just farm down whatever comes in. It's gonna be the Warren. Again, my opponent had the lead weak to Araquanid, Warren completely weak to Araquanid, and also the Drapion wouldn't do that well against Araquanid either. So like, you have such a good matchup in general with this Pokemon against a lot of Pokemon in the meta, which is amazing. So we can farm down this Warren, and there's not a lot my opponent can do here as we farm down this Deoxys Defense as well. Here we are against a War, and I misplay this game a little bit, as you're gonna see later on. Here we have Beware against us, which is not really good for this team, definitely. Like, you are fine against nearly every other fighting type, but because it's a normal fighting type, your Sableye doesn't really have the best play. We're not gonna get the shield from my opponent there. We go for the Earthquake at the same time as they go for the move, which allows us to go for this move now. The Earthquake comes through. We're gonna get the shield, we're gonna get the Sableye from him, but we're gonna see him going back into the Beware. And I'm just gonna let this Beware KO me. I think we're gonna go for the Earthquake here. I don't know if this goes through. It does not go through. He shields us up. I think he still has to throw though. He throws here on this move, which is interesting, as it's only a Stomp. And at this point, I should have went into my Sableye. As I resist both of his charge moves, I should have went into my Sableye. I don't go into my Sableye. Don't ask me why. This was like not the smartest idea that I ever had, to be honest. And this kind of cost me the game, this move, sadly, as the Stomp actually hurts a lot against Araquanid, which I didn't expect. I should have went for the move here prior as well. That was also not really the smartest idea. And now we don't really have enough health. We're just gonna go for the Bug Buzz and swap out here, trying to preserve our Pokemon. And here it comes down to the bait. If he baits me here, he wins. If he doesn't bait me here, I win. He baits me, and he gets to the next Shadow Ball just in time, because I don't deny him, he doesn't deny me. It's all like fair gameplay here. It's all totally fine. But we just barely miss out for the foul play there. And he cannot farm me down here, but the Beware can still farm me down there. I misplayed this game quite a lot, to be honest. I should have went way better there. If I just went into my Sableye against the Beware, because the Beware couldn't really do anything against me there either. And I think the having the Araquanid in the back would have helped me a lot in the game, but of course I don't know his team, so a little bit tough to predict what he has in the bag. Here we see a Araquanid in the lead, which is interesting that they stay in here, as they are weak to rock sides, of course, but they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna try to just shield up my moves and go for Bubble Beam, which actually makes it really awkward here, to be honest, because you're gonna see here that I don't really get the damage output anymore. Like, because we are so debuffed, I don't get enough damage on my opponent, which means I have to swap out into my Sableye. They can go into their Dedenne, which is a very weird pick there, but I guess it's fine. And we're gonna be able to go for 1 return. But he gonna shield this up, great shield from my opponent, and I'm gonna be able to go for another return, I think. Like, I don't think they can KO me in time before I get to the next return, and they actually can get to another move, but I don't think it's the move that they want to go. Exactly, it's a discharge only. They didn't get to the play rough, but we can go for the return now, which KOs my opponent, and we see the Sableye coming in. And I think Araquanid's still gonna have a decent play here against my opponent. I think I still have a move stored on my G-Fisk. I should have still 1 Rock Slide stored there. We're just gonna build up to nearly 1 Bug Buzz. We can go for 1 Rock Slide. This should KO my opponent. It does KO this thing. We can go for another Rock Slide as well. We're gonna put him definitely into range for 1 Bug Buzz. Gonna able to win this game here with the combo play with the G-Fisk. Good game to my opponent. Very well played. Next up, we're gonna have Stunfisk against the Nidoqueen. Very good matchup for us, of course, as we see the Sableye swapping into us. We can stay in here for a little bit, trying to get some advantage in this matchup. Going for the Earthquake, either getting me the shield advantage or the health advantage. We get the shield advantage, we swap into our own Sableye, which now means we can align our Pokemon. They're still definitely gonna need an Earth Power to KO our Sableye, and not our Sableye, our G-Fisk, so the reduced health there doesn't really matter too much, as they can get to another move there, well played by my opponent. Doesn't really put me into any range, as they go into the Nidoqueen and we can go for the return here. Does he let this go or does he know? They don't know, and we cannot KO this. We see the Marowak coming in here though, and this is awkward. As you saw maybe in my Marowak video, you have such a good matchup here, especially with a defense drop there from my opponent. This was really unfortunate. It's such a good matchup for the Marowak as I really try to go for the Rock Slide here. I think I still can get to my Rock Slide, to be honest, as a Shadow Bone doesn't KO me, and he gets another time the 20% chance for the defense drop, which is kind of annoying, but doesn't really matter, to be honest. I don't think it actually mattered at all. He's just gonna win this game pretty close still, to be honest, as we can go for one Bubble Beam here, but they have a move stored and they can just farm me down afterwards, which is fine. We're gonna lose the last game here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day when my opponent now throws his Bone Club most likely. Bye!